Ready, homie.
All right, y'all. We are back in the pod, ready to rock and roll. Today, I got a special guest, man. When I say special, this dude, we go way back.
Way back.
As kids, man, like 6th grade. So introduce yourself.
My name is Michael Lopez, born and raised in San Francisco, now living in Los Angeles, and, it's good to be back home.
My goddamn boy left me, man. Left me back in the Bay. Damn it. But let's rewind, man. Let's go way back. So where we meet at? James Lick Middle School?
James Lick, is it? James Lick or Epiphany or St. Paul's?
No, it's James Lick.
James Lick.
Middle school.
Yeah, so I think that was 6th or 7th grade or 8th grade or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, God, man, that was a long time ago.
Bro, we're like, what, 12 years old, 13 years old? Damn.
13 years old, riding our bikes around town. But, man, it feels good to be back home, man. But
Yeah.
that's how long we've known each other, since we were
I
kids.
know. We both grew up in San Francisco, man. Life has definitely changed out here in the Bay since we grew up, right?
Yeah, it had. You know what? I heard the expression a long time ago from a friend of mine. He said that San Francisco is a victim of its own success. It has changed for the better, but also for the worse for the people that actually used to live here, because a lot of people got pushed out, and then it changed into, I don't know, it's like downtown's a different feel now.
It's a crazy transition what happened to the city. It doesn't feel like the same as it used to when we grew up.
No, it does
right?
not, man.
A lot of implants. That's what I call them.
Yes, absolutely. There's a clothing brand out here in the Bay Area called Made in the City, and one of their shirts says, "You flew here, we grew up here."
Ooh, I got to get that one.
Yeah, exactly.
Who's making that?
It's called Made in the City.
Made in the City.
And they actually have another sweatshirt on the back that says, "No, we do call it Frisco."
Yes. I got into argument online with someone recently. They don't call it Frisco. Like, where are you from?
Exactly.
Homie? You're tripping.
Exactly. And you know what? I was in Chicago, and I was wearing that sweatshirt just like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And look, I'm not trying to get into race things, but you know what? I explained to somebody. Somebody walked up to me and said, people from the Bay Area don't call it Frisco because of my shirt. And I was like, oh, let me explain something to you.
Let me break it down here. Let me game you up. I'm a native, born and raised.
I was born and raised in San Francisco. I ran those streets. I mission raised, and
Yes.
I was like, and I think it's a cultural difference.
Yeah.
The black and the brown community call it Frisco. And I think it's the white people, and I'm not trying to be...
No, you're just trying to, clarify.
Clarify. I'm like, it's the white people that actually don't call it Frisco. And that's what I've learned. Because everybody have come up to me and told me, oh, we don't call it Frisco. I'm like, we call it Frisco.
Yeah, we.
You know what I'm saying?
We from the hood.
Yeah, exactly. So I think there's a cultural difference there. But I wear that shirt with pride, bro.
You know what I say call is, a lot of people don't know this, is also, if you really want to get hood with it, we call it the SCO. I'm from the SCO.
There you go. Exactly.
So what do you remember about life back in the city when you were there, man? Like, let's go back to when you were a kid, to when we got to, you working for the radio station after high school,
Yeah. I used to work for Wild 107. I worked at KMEL as an intern, and then I got hired at Wild 107, and then I was there when it transitioned to Wild 94.9, and I used to work on the street team. I used to be the ones that they used to call me Mikey on the radio. Yeah. I used to roll around in the vans all the time.
Yes.
And I remember a couple times you came out with me in the vans, and we would go to the clubs. We'd park right in front of DV8, homie.
Oh, man.
Right in front of DV8. And it was a blast back then, bro. It was a blast back then.
For those of you guys don't know what DV8 is, probably from you guys are not from the Bay, listen to this. So that was the hottest nightclub of that era. The 90s.
The best nightclub
Hands
in the world.
down.
Absolutely. It was like 3 levels. The bottom level was all hip hop. The main level was all like Latin house, dance, pop music. And the third level was like deep house.
Yes.
So Dr. Winky, I believe, owned that place.
That's him.
And they
Dr.
had
Winky.
a big Keith Haring mural up in there too. It was like it took up the whole wall.
Damn, I forgot about that.
Yeah, you remember that?
Yes.
Yeah. It was a great nightclub, and that was one of the best. You got City Nights, you had the X, you had Sound Factory, you had DV8. Man, Cat's Alley.
That's right.
Yeah. So good times, man.
Dude, the city was booming, bro.
It was.
I don't know how it is now. The nightlife can far removed from it, but I don't think it's like when our era was.
Well,
I had Glass Cat. Remember that one?
Yeah, there you go. Glass Cat. And you know what's funny? You mentioned the nightlife, how it is now. My wife and I were staying at the Marquis Marriott two nights ago.
Okay.
We're sitting up there. You've been to the View, the top level, the Marriott Marquis?
Yeah,
it's a
of course.
beautiful view. One of the best views in the city. If you ever get a chance to come down to San Francisco, you don't have to stay at the Marriott Marquis to go to the View. Just take the elevator up to the
4th Street admission, right?
Yeah.
Yup.
So we're staying there, and we're having drinks. My wife's like, babe, do you want to go out tonight? I was like, I don't know, babe. I'm kind of tired. And it's a Friday night. I'm like, times have changed, homie.
Yeah.
Times have changed. We still have a good time, but,
yeah,
it's like, I don't know about the nightlife.
Dude, we're the same. Me and my wife, 9 o'clock, we're in bed, bro. We don't got it in us.
Yeah.
And you talk about people who used to party in Vegas, pop bottles.
That was you.
I've traveled from New York to Miami. I've partied in every major nightclub in California.
Mm-hmm.
From the East Coast to the West Coast, I've done it. I've been in all the hottest, from Live in Miami.
Mm-hmm.
I forgot the popping clubs in New York, but I've been out there. I even partied in Texas. I was just chasing something, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, pretty much.
Chasing a good time.
So where'd you end up going to high school at? I don't even remember.
I actually left the Bay Area for 2 years. I went to Diamond Bar High School. My little cousin Lauren, way younger than me, but she called me the Fresh Prince because I got into a lot of trouble out here. After James Lick, I was getting into a lot of trouble. I was hanging around with a bunch of idiots.
Where'd you go?
My mom called my aunt and says, "You're moving with your auntie down in Diamond Bar." And she sent me to Diamond Bar, which was a really good school, freshman and sophomore year. So I went to LA for Diamond Bar High School for freshman and sophomore year. Then I came back because my aunt couldn't take me anymore. And for my junior and senior year, I went to Mills High School in Millbrae.
Oh, shit, man. You bounced around all over the fucking place.
And I think
crazy.
that's the reason why I got to know so many people.
Yeah.
It's because I was constantly, I went to St. Paul's, I went to Epiphany, I went to James Lick, I went to Visitation Valley.
B Valley.
Yeah, I went to so many different schools, so I got to know so many different people, and I was always constantly the new kid at school.
Yeah.
And I don't know why I was always at different schools. I'm not sure how that happened.
Dude, that's
but
crazy. I've been in different schools too.
Yeah.
I even went to Viz Valley as well because something happened at James Lick Middle School where they had to take us out of there, bring all the people from McIntyre because they had an asbestos bullshit going there. And they fucking distribute us all over the city.
Yeah.
And here we are. I'm from like Mission Kid, and you're sending me to Visitation for Sunnydale, man? Really?
Yeah, Sunnydale.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I was a little fucking scared.
Yeah.
It's not my neighborhood.
The swamp, man. It was bad back then.
You lived by the swamp.
Dude, I was 2 blocks away from the swamp. You know what's
Tell
funny?
these people what the swamp is, man. Describe this one. It's projects, man. Housing projects, San Francisco, but...
I lived in the Sunnydale district, Visitation Valley.
Yeah.
And the swamp was basically the Sunnydale projects.
Yes.
A lot of people were like, well, Sunnyvale? No, Sunnydale.
Sunnydale.
35-minute difference.
30, yep.
And it was dangerous.
Oh, yeah.
And, you know, those are the times where we rode buses. You know what I'm saying? And at that time, nobody knew. I went to James Lick at around that time, right?
Yeah. Why'd you go to James Lick for living...
Like I said, man, I don't know I don't know why my mom just bounced me around schools. I don't know, but I went to James Lick when Sunnydale and Hunters Point rivals.
I remember that.
And
that was a known thing.
No one knew I was from Sunnydale. Only one friend.
I didn't even know that.
Yeah, nobody knew because I couldn't tell anybody else.
Hell no.
I lived in Sunnydale. Even though I wasn't affiliated in gangs, I would have got my ass kicked just because I lived there, which is stupid mentality.
It is.
But
they would have definitely jumped you.
Yeah,
there's
they
a lot of
jumped.
kids going to Hunters Point on that side of town.
Yeah, all my friends at James Lick were from Hunters Point, but I was from Sunnydale.
Damn.
And back then, it was dangerous.
Oh yeah.
That's when Peter Lee got shot from Sunnydale. You know, I remember those times. It was like a war in the streets.
So let me explain to you guys what that is. So Sunnydale, like I told you earlier, big housing projects, San Francisco. Near, was that outer San Francisco? You said the outskirts, almost touching
straight up South San Francisco, right at the edge.
Almost at the edge,
right at the edge.
Dangerous place. And then Hunters Point is geographically, how do I describe, along 3rd Street, but it's like a massive neighborhood of different projects. There's so many different sets in Hunters Point. Hunters Point's huge, so you don't even know what set you're beefing from.
Nope.
It goes from Double Rock projects to Big Block to there's so many sets in Hunters Point itself. So yeah, man, back then there was real beef. It wasn't like gangs like Crips or Bloods, but it was like project beef, neighborhood beef.
Yeah, even Mission District was dangerous, bro.
Oh yeah,
Mission was dangerous.
Oh yeah,
but we rolled the buses like
yes, we did.
But we had to watch our back.
Of course,
there was so many fights I used to see on the bus, and you know, here you are by yourself as a kid. You grew up fast. You grew up fast.
You had
in
to
these
know
streets.
quick. You had to know street knowledge. You better not go on the bus and there's I don't want to say this, but a bunch of Simones, especially some Smalls with some nice stuff. Good luck. Don't take your shoes and your jacket.
And
your
those
hat.
are all my friends in Sunnydale.
Yeah,
Sunnydale was very Samoan and black oriented.
Yes,
and those are all my friends.
So the times were wild, man. We made it through some crazy fucking times back then.
Crazy times, bro.
And then the Mission, that's grew up there. I lived there close to the Mission, had a lot of red and blue. Not Crips or Bloods. It's basically Norteños,
Sureños, yeah.
So it's Latin gangs going at it. And there was fucking gangs everywhere on the blocks out there. So you had to navigate yourself through there too and watch the buses, like you said.
Yeah, man.
You just want to get something to eat in the Mission, get a burrito. You gotta watch your step.
You had to watch your step, man.
But
it was
realize
dangerous.
It's nothing like today.
No,
not even close.
And like I said, I'm not trying to get racial here, but it's crazy. I was just down 24th Street yesterday with my son, 18-year-old son, and his friend, and I saw white people
everywhere now.
I'm like, wow,
times have changed.
Look at all these white people here in 24th Street. That would have been unheard of 30 years ago, bro. Even now in Sunnydale, there's a park right there that I grew up in as a kid. You had to watch your back.
I know
at
that park.
park. Yeah.
Biz Valley.
Yes.
I know that park.
Dude, there are families out there picnicking now.
Oh, my.
They're a picnic. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm sorry. What the hell is happening, dude? It's crazy.
It is.
And I let my kids walk yesterday. I let my kids walk up to the park by themselves. I would have not let that happen 10, 15 years ago.
No.
It's changed.
No.
Which is good.
Yeah. In some places, it's gotten worse. Some places, gotten better. Like, y'all know you see the shit show on the TL. You probably see it in the news. It's like fucking apocalypse out there.
I've driven through there, and I can't believe it. It's like I hold my breath because I don't want to get like TB or something.
Yeah, bro. It's horrible.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
So let's talk about life after high school. She worked for the radio station for a little while.
Yeah, I worked for the radio station.
And this guy, you guys would pick me up. I remember I felt like a kid in a can. So he'd pick me up. I wasn't even 21 yet. Like, Mike, you want to go to the club? Yeah, I'm going to pick you up. How you going to get us in? Don't worry about it. I got us.
Don't worry about it, bro.
Pick us up in the fucking radio station van, pull up to DVA, and we got surrounded by girls. Felt like a rock star. Like, holy shit, can you get us in? I'm like, I'm just with this guy, man. Nothing I could do for you. And it felt special. Fucking bouncers let us right in. No ID, no nothing.
Velvet robes open up. We walk right in, bro.
My God. For those of you who don't know that feeling, you felt like a rock star. Like, wow.
And it was like that
every Friday night. That
every
place
Friday
was popping. And then, so I'd hang out with this guy. We'd have fun. Just fucking wild-ass kids. But you know one thing I want to talk about that I remember back then?
What's that?
Is we were bored on a Sunday. I'm going to see if you remember this. We were bored. I was like, Mike, it's boring out here on a Sunday. Nothing's happening, bro. And I was kind of in the lowriding game. I said, hey, let's start a fucking Sunday night oldies cruise. So I gave this guy to fucking start an oldies. I called it the Sunday Night Oldies Cruise. So he announced it over the radio. People from everywhere come to San Francisco to the Mission. East Bay, which is Hayward, San Leandro, Oakland. Then you have people from San Jose coming down. It got fucking popping.
Yeah, it got popping. And I got in trouble for that.
I was going to get to that. Tell them what happened.
Well, I got in trouble. All of a sudden, I think the city council called the radio station. I had to go to a city council meeting, and a whole bunch of people from the Lowrider community showed up too. You know what I'm saying?
To support.
Yeah, to support. And they shut it down quick.
Yeah.
But I got in trouble for that. And I think we moved it to the pier instead of the Mission.
Yeah.
Dude, oh my, I totally forgot about that. I actually just found a picture of me holding up a ticket that I got with the radio station. Man, all the lowriders are around me. I'm like this. Even with the cops, I'm like, damn. I just found that picture like 2 weeks ago.
You're going to have to send it to me. I got to post that up.
Yeah, man. I remember that. Oh, my God.
It was fun. At first, it started like not too many people. I started letting people in on the phone. Then you announced it. All of a sudden, first weekend wasn't that many. Second week got busy. But within 3 weeks or so, it got popping out there.
Packed. And that's where I got in trouble.
Man. God damn, you guys. We're just trying to have fun. We're not bothering nobody. What's crazy is like San Jose lifted the ban. Like it's not illegal to cruise anymore.
Yeah.
They finally deemed it kind of like racial and indiscriminatory or whatever.
Absolutely.
After all these fucking years, they finally lifted the ban.
Yeah, it was a big ban on it for many years. And you know what I think it is, bro? I got back into the lowrider community last year. I invented a product. We'll get to that in a second. But I invented I got married. Well, not really married. I'm happily unmarried, but I have a family with a wife. Yes. You know Vanessa. Vanessa grew up very white, but she's Mexicana. She's from LA, but she grew up two parents, educated people. All of her four sisters
not
went.
In the hood.
No, not at all, dude. She grew up very Disney. I call her the little brown mermaid because she grew up very Disney. Yeah, everything's all about princesses and Disneyland and all that bullshit. And we grew up hood. You know what I'm saying? We grew up like the movie Friday. So that's how I describe Vanessa and me. I grew up Friday. She grew up Disney. So when I got back into this lowrider community because of this product I invented, I told her, I was like, hey, babe, you want to go to the car shows with me? And she was like, I don't know, babe. I was like, why? She's like, well, what about the people? Is it dangerous? I mean, do you want to bring the kids? It may be dangerous. I'm like,
that's fucking funny.
I was like, no, babe, it's not dangerous. It's, She's like, well, I don't look at, they all look like cholos and all this. I'm like, babe.
That's a culture.
100%.
That's the culture.
100%. And when she finally agreed she was going to help me with the booth. At the end of the day, we left the booth. We left the event and we got in the car. She got in the car. She turned to me. She said, babe, I was wrong. This is a wonderful community.
Oh, yeah.
And I think it's changed. It's evolved. All these homies that were our age now are older and they have kids of their own. Yep. They still dress the same. They still talk the same. They still have their cars. You know what I'm saying? Like that. But their mentality has changed.
Yeah.
And it's trickled down into their kids.
Yep.
And now it's not about violence. It's about a different type of gang mentality. It's more about a family mentality, a car club mentality, and it's very family oriented.
Yeah.
It's a festive environment.
Yeah.
And that's what she realized. She could not believe how much fun and how great everybody was. And I told her, I was like, it's changed, babe.
Yep.
And the whole Cholo community, it's more like a subculture now.
Yeah.
It's the way you dress, the way you talk, the way you listen, what you listen to, and things like that. And now you have Cholos who are artists, who are entrepreneurs, who are also city politicians somewhere. You know what I'm saying? And they have a different mentality now.
They can relate to us.
Exactly. And a lot of them are community activists now. You know what I'm saying? And and that's what I love about that community now, about the community that we're a part of.
Yeah.
Things have changed now for the better.
For the better. And it's crazy because I come from that community, guys. I had a lowrider. I belonged to Uso Car Club. I was one of the first members of the 5 chapters that was created in California. I was one of the original members, San Francisco chapter. I got away from it, the lowriding community, because what I saw, I started getting a little older, turned 21. I was like, I don't like this because I felt like everybody was flexing. Chest puffing, flexing, and instead of going to enjoy a show of a car, you want to go there and gangbang and start shit. And I couldn't stand that.
Yeah.
This is not a gangbanging fucking festival. It's a car show, and it ticked me off. So I got away from the lowriding community for that, one of those reasons. But now what I see now, fast forward to today, is like guys that are basically punk kids our age back then.
Yep.
Now they grew up, evolved, and said, you know what, we got to teach the youth better. We got to make this more family oriented. Now they learn and the game has evolved. I see it too, like you said.
Absolutely, and that's what I really enjoy about this community. So it's interesting to see that evolution, and it's changing the narrative. A lot of people, like my wife, mentality. Outsider looking in, you still see that negative contact. You still see it as, oh, I don't know, it looks a little sketch. But then you step into it, you realize, oh, it's not like this at all. And it's a great community. And I think that's one of the reasons why the Lowrider ban was taken off, because it's like, it's changed.
Yeah.
It's not about violence anymore. It's about celebration. Lowriders have become art on wheels.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
And it's somebody's soul. They're not going to go out there and shoot up cars, and your heart and soul are into this rolling art piece. You know what I'm saying? Like that. So it's a different type of mentality. It's a great family-oriented community that I enjoy being a part of.
Dude, let me tell you something about car guys. I'm in the muscle car community now, but we still have collaborate with lowrider guys. We still have contact, Lowrider Council. Shout out David from San Jose. So we still have, we do like cross events. Like they want us to come support, we'll pull up on our muscle cars. There's no beef there. There's no, we're the muscle cars. You guys are because back in the day, it was a little separation, color lines. Yeah. Muscle cars was the white guys. Lowriders was the brown and black guys. But now it's like everybody's coming together because we love our fucking cars damn near as much as we love our kids. That's how passionate we are about cars.
Yep.
We sink every dollar into them. We watch them build them from the ground up. And then when they're done, the creation is like artwork. Like you said, rolling art. You're like, wow, you're so proud of it. Yeah. Last thing you want to do is do something to harm your car. Absolutely. Put yourself in any kind of danger.
Absolutely.
You know, so you don't bring that element around you. Never. And now it used to be our rule of Uso Car Club. If you're going to join our club, you cannot be an active gang member. You got to denounce your gang status and tell your gang, like, I'm done. I'm just going to lowride. And we didn't discriminate against nobody. If you were a gang member, because especially the Harbor Road chapter back there, they had a lot of blood, a lot of Pyrus, Samoan dudes. So they had to change their lifestyle around. They were respected, but they still had the respect of the streets. Like, all right, we respect you, Us. You're not doing this no more, but you're doing this, something positive, because now it's just about family and culture.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It is all about family and culture. So
let's talk about why you left to LA, man. Let's tell that story. When you dipped. How old were you when you left to LA?
I think I was like 22, 23 or something like that.
You stopped working for the radio station?
I stopped working for the radio station out here in the Bay, but then I got a job at Power 106 in LA. Okay. And I actually went down there to be an actor. Yeah. I went down there to be an actor, and it was funny because it was right after Ricky Martin performed at the Grammys.
Oh, no way.
And Ricky Martin, at that time, I don't know if anybody remembers that performance. I think Rosie O'Donnell was hosting the Grammys, and Ricky Martin performed. And after that, I got my headshots and resumes. I was still living in San Francisco, and I sent out my headshots and resumes to 40 different agents, talent agents. Yeah. Looking for an agent. That's how you get into auditions. You need representation. I sent around 40 headshots and resumes. I got around 22 meetings out of that. And they all said the same thing. we're looking for Latin dudes. We're looking for Latin dudes. But so because of Ricky Martin performing at the Grammys, all of a sudden the Latin explosion just took off at that moment.
Blew up.
Yeah. So I went down, I took all these meetings, and I finally decided to go with certain agents. And then I made the move down to LA. And like, I remember my first commercial audition was for Applebee's. Never done an audition before. Never. My very first one, I walk in.
Wow.
And they said, okay, you're going to sit here. And they brought in 2 other actors. You guys are just celebrating. Keep it positive, blah, blah, blah. You're having a good time. I was like, shit, I could do that. 2, 1, action. And we're all having good time, blah, blah, blah. This is back in the day when you had beepers. I didn't have a cell phone back then, right?
Beepers.
So I get out of the audition, and the 2 guys were like, hey, man, congrats. You just booked this commercial. The actors, I was like, whatever. I thought they were just bullshitting.
Yeah.
So I'm driving over the hill. I get a page from my agent. I get home. I call him back. He's like, hey, man, congrats. You just booked your first audition. I was like, what? So I booked my very first commercial audition. And it was a lot of fun. And then I got my second audition. I booked my first 5 commercial auditions. So that's unheard of. That was unheard of. I remember I went on one. They flew me out to Yosemite for an American Express commercial. And I'm sitting there, and I'm talking to the other actors that were asking me, how long you been doing this? So I was like, oh, shit, I just started doing this 6 months ago or 4 months ago. And they asked me, how's it going? I was like, well, this is I think that was like my 4th audition or my 4th commercial. And I told them I've only had 4 auditions, and I booked them all. They're like, what? That's crazy, because that doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I was very fortunate. But, and you and I were talking about this earlier, financial literacy.
Yeah.
I never had anybody, dude. I probably that year I made around over $160,000.
And what year was that in?
God, I want to say like 1999.
You know how much money that was in 1999, you guys?
Dude,
that's probably like what, 400 today with inflation?
Absolutely, dude. I pissed it all away. I partied. I had nobody to tell me anything, bro. Yeah. Nobody. And I look back and I'm like, what a fucking mistake that was. I had nobody. I had nobody telling me anything.
Yeah.
So now that my kids are in the game, my kids are doing commercials now, and they're making a good amount of money.
Good for them.
And we're stacking their bread. We're putting into money market accounts. We're putting investing it for them.
Let it grow.
Yeah, we're letting it grow for them. So right now, shoot, my 12-year-old has a nice little chunk of change waiting for him when he turns 18.
See? Smart though.
Yeah, but I wish I had somebody like that, because I would have bought a house. I had opportunities to buy things too. I was like, nah, I don't need that. I'm having a good time. So, damn, dude, it pisses me off.
You were young. How are you supposed to know? You were young. You're having fun. And LA, man, that's the Mecca, man. Especially back then, LA was just the place to be. Nightlife, movie life, you name it, it's popping. There's nothing you can't find in LA.
Oh, man, it was fun. LA was fun. So being single in LA?
Yeah.
Shit, trust me. It was fun.
I remember this guy, you were trying to get me to go out there. And I was thinking about it. I was contemplating. And then my ass caught a federal fucking case, and I had to go away. And then when I got out, you're like, hey, you're a trainer, bro? You certified? Yeah. I was working for 24, like, come out to LA, bro. Come on. Yeah. And I was 50-50. I was wanted to get the fuck out of the Bay, and I just got cold feet for some reason. I wonder what my life would have been like if I would have just took the plunge and went to LA. Because I already knew you. I don't know a lot of people out there at that time.
Yeah.
But like, I know LA is a wild place, but things happen for a reason.
Yeah. You know what? I have all these friends from the Bay Area, and they're kind of like, it's the Bay Area mentality, the minority mentality back in the 80s and 90s. You know what I'm saying?
Yep.
I think we all had parents that were just like, get good grades.
Yes.
Go to school, get a good job.
That's it.
That was it.
Raise a family, pay your bills.
Pay your family, and their mentality was just work hard and pay your bills.
Yeah.
We weren't surrounded by people that were like, fuck working hard. Build a business.
Yes.
Invest.
Yes.
Diversify.
Yes.
Hang out with these people.
Yep.
Do this. You know what I'm saying? We didn't have that.
Move this way, not that way.
Exactly. We had people that were just like, get a good job.
Yeah.
Get a good job, pay your bills.
Get a nice car.
Exactly.
You're doing it.
And I wish I had, I think all of us wish we had better people in our lives that kind of,
mentors. We talked about that.
Yeah. We didn't have those things back in then, especially in our community.
No, we didn't learn financial literacy, which is so important. They don't teach us that. It's kind of sad that you don't teach kids that. You don't even teach kids how to get a bank account.
Exactly.
Remember that old school way you just turn 18 and get a bank account? What am I getting a bank account for? What's the purpose? Okay, to pay bills.
And back then, you remember they were just giving credit cards out to 18-year-olds like candy, bro. Here, with 30% interest rate. Here, get a credit card. Sign up here. You get a free backpack.
Yeah.
I get a backpack.
Destroy your credit while you're at it.
Destroy your credit.
Which I've done it a few times already.
Yeah, man. So, I mean, there was nothing out there to tell us anything about how the financial game worked.
No.
And now I'm doing it different with my kids.
Yeah.
Because now I know better. And I
That's
learned.
smart.
Trust me, I made many mistakes when I was a kid.
Yeah,
so.
but see, that's good that you had those mistakes because at least you can teach your kids not to make those mistakes. Like, look, son, I've been here, done that. Don't do this. Don't do the same shit I did. Make your money grow for you. Make money while you're in your sleep. That's what I always wanted to do.
That's what I tell my kids all the time. Your goal is to make money while you're sleeping.
Yes.
Because if you work per hour, you will. Warren Buffett said this. If you work per hour, you will work until you're dead.
Yep. Facts.
Yeah.
And now more and more Americans can't even retire because they just can't make ends meet. You think Social Security is going to pay your bills?
No, absolutely not.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely not, bro. So
before she passed away, my mother was barely making ends meet. I make sure she had food and she had extra. I always make sure she never went without. But what they were giving her was peanuts.
Yeah.
You know, how did these people survive? But especially if today with inflation, there's no way.
There's no way, especially here in the Bay. You can't.
Especially here in the Bay.
Especially here in the Bay. You gotta move to freaking Chihuahua, Mexico if you want to grow that money.
Exactly.
I mean, if you want to stretch that money, man.
So tell us some stories about, like, I want to know because I never even asked you this. Is life in LA like? What stories you got with celebrities, man? I know you've been around some celebrities, bro. I know you've been around some people, some parties.
I've seen some shit, man. I remember my first night. I'm not going to mention the actor.
Okay, all right, that's fair enough.
Let's just say he's been in a lot of Quentin Tarantino movies.
Okay,
but I was at House of Blues, right?
Okay,
and my very first day working at Power 106, the very first day, they said, we got to go to an event at the House of Blues. I'm like, okay, cool, House of Blues. Sunset Boulevard is no longer there anymore.
I know House of Blues, yep.
So we get to the House of Blues. There's an event going on. And, of course, with the radio station, we don't go in the general population.
No,
we go in there's like these secret rooms at the House of Blues.
Oh, no way.
Secret-ass rooms. And my very first night, we get in there. We go to the back. Everything's open bar for us. We're drinking, having a good time. I'm like, oh, shit. I can't believe I'm doing this. Like, my mind was blown.
You were a young guy.
I was young. I was like 22.
Oh, yeah.
So I go into this little room and I see this tiny little door. And I'm like, oh, what's in here? And I go walk into and the room is like the size of this desk right here. And it's it's padded walls. It's really cool. It looks like you're in India. A really cool table. There's couches, big old, and I come in there, and these girls were in there, and this guy, and I didn't see him because his head was down. He was doing coke in front of me.
Of course,
I know he was doing. I was like, and I've never seen that shit before.
Really?
Yeah, I've never seen. I was like, oh, I was like, holy shit! And then he put his head up. I was like, holy shit! I'm not gonna say who it was, but I was like, holy shit. Oh, and then the girls were like, hey, come on in, sit down. I'm like, okay. I sit down and I'm like, they
You're
have
like a little fanboy, huh?
Yeah. And I'm just sitting there with my drink and they're just doing coke and you got
a lot of it on the table?
A lot of it is on, and it was a tiny room. And that was like my very first night in LA, bro.
Wow.
My very first night. But it's crazy. It's crazy. I've been to parties where I go into rooms and there's like all these naked people in a jacuzzi. And a lot of fake breasts, and I've seen some shit, man.
So Hollywood really lives up to like what it says it lives up to, or what we know it lives up to.
Yeah,
but they try to keep it under the wraps.
You know what? See, back then
I hear a lot of freaky shit going on in Hollywood.
Yeah. There's a lot of freaky shit going on, but back then there was no phones. It was a different time.
Yes.
There was no phones, no video. Not everybody had a video camera with them. So people were open about that shit.
That's right.
Now it's different. You got to be careful about what you're doing because you don't know who's filming what or who's recording what. So it's a lot different now. Yeah. But, now I don't even fucking go out anymore. But I still hang out with some people and we do some fun stuff. But it's not even like that. It's not crazy, dangerous. Like, what am I doing? I've done some shit in the past. I'm like, why did I do that?
I know. Because you're curious, adventurous. It's the reason why you went to LA. You went on a new adventure.
There's things that happened in LA, like Dublin's. That was this great Irish bar. Dublin's on Sunset Boulevard, right across. It used to be across from Miyagi's, which was this kind of like sushi place, but it was.
I heard of Miyagi's.
Dude, Sunset Boulevard was cracking.
Oh, people don't know. Sunset Boulevard in LA, you guys, is like.
Oh my God. It's not, and it's not like that anymore.
No.
That's what's sad. I've gone down Sunset Boulevard, I think last 2 weeks, I took my kid to an audition and we were driving down Sunset Boulevard. Tower Records is gone. House of Blues is gone. Dublin's is gone. Miyagi's is gone. And it's all corporate. It's boring as hell.
Boring.
But back in the day, bro, like Melrose Avenue, popping, bro.
People don't know those are like rockstar alleys, right?
Yeah, but now it's not like that anymore. It's changed. It's completely changed.
Is that comedy club still on Sunset Boulevard?
Yeah, the Comedy Store.
Comedy
and
Store?
The Laugh Factory is still there. It's like they're holding on. You know what I'm saying? They're holding on.
Couple little bars.
Yeah, there's a couple little bars, but it's not like it back in the day. If you really want to know what LA life used to be like, watch a show called Entourage.
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
Entourage was dope.
Entourage was dope. That was pretty much my life, just without me being a celebrity. Because that's everything I used to do. I used to go to all these events. I used to go to all the red carpet events. I went to all the red carpet premieres and all that kind of stuff with the radio station.
Wow.
It was a lot of fun.
They plugged you up.
Oh, yeah. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun.
How about when you were doing your gigs? Are you little acting gigs and commercials? Did you go to special events there too?
No, not really. I mean, as an actor, you just go do your work and you come back, and there's no celebrity. You're an actor on a commercial.
Yeah.
It's not a big deal.
Yeah.
It honestly really isn't a big deal. And I actually took a long break. When my kid was born 18 years ago, I took a break, and I got back into the game like maybe 2019. Well, in 2006, I decided take a break from acting. I didn't want to do auditions anymore. They took a lot of my time, and I want to spend some time with my kid who I just had.
Yeah.
And then later on, I had 2 kids, got a wifey, baby mama, and then I got back in the game in 2019, and I put my kids in the game too. So now they're doing it as well. Like, I'm in the Bay Area right now. I just dropped off my kid and his best friend because they got hired to do a short film in Pleasanton to do sound and do cinematography. So that's what my kids are doing now. They're in the creative arts of filmmaking.
How do they like it?
They love it. My son, last week we were in Orlando, my 18-year-old, and he got to be a part of something called the Disney Dreamers Academy. And it's like a mentorship program for everybody in the arts. Like thousands of people apply. I think around between 40 to 50,000 people apply for this program that happens once a year, and they only pick 100. My son got to be one of the 100 because he's a filmmaker. He's done a couple businesses. During COVID, he started businesses that I helped him with. And he applied. He got in. We all went to Orlando. He got mentored. There were workshops. There were programs. And then at the end, at the closing ceremony, after 5 days of all these workshops, he got chosen to be Disney Dreamer of the Year.
Damn.
I know.
Wow.
It was
what an honor, man.
Huge honor for him and for all of us because we were so proud of him. He's such a great kid. A lot different than how I was. I mean, he's driven, but he also has mentors around him.
Yeah.
You know,
that's the difference.
Yeah. He has a lot of mentors around him and he's listening.
That's the biggest thing is with the younger generation, younger dudes is the advice I give a lot of young dudes is like, listen, man, just shut up and listen to us older dudes. Mm-hmm. We've been there, fucking done that. Mm-hmm. Don't think there's something you're doing that we ain't done. Been there, done that. I can tell you stories for fucking days off camera with shit I've been through, done. Prison stories, you name it. But the thing is, shut up for you youngsters and listen to the older heads, man, that been there, done that. We're trying to teach you some things so you don't fall in the same mistakes that we did.
Absolutely. And I was constantly falling into mistakes. But we didn't know that, though.
No. We're second generation.
Yeah.
No, first generation. So we're first generation. So we're learning as we go.
Yeah.
There's no blueprint. There's no book. There's no Aspire events that we can go and get mentored, all these other events they have. There's no... What's crazy today, though, bro, is a different era. It's like actors were the celebrities. Michael J. Fox said this. She's like, man, we worked hard to be a celebrity and famous. And everybody's getting famous off social media. There's no more. There's no more. I got to be on the big screen to be famous. Reality stars are famous now. Mm-hmm. You got 1, 2, 3 million, 4, 5. You blow up on social media. Something goes viral. You become instantly famous. Not the whole world's not going to know.
I mean, back in the day, you needed something called talent.
Yes.
Now you don't.
No.
You just need to do something stupid on TikTok, and all of a sudden you're blown up.
Especially these chicks where they show a lot of stuff on you know what I'm saying? They expose themselves, and then I look at their accounts, 1 million, 2 million, 3 million. I'm like, yeah, because you got a lot of dudes simping over them. So it's making them somewhat famous for social media. Yeah, man. And then they go on like podcasts, and then they have OnlyFans. And
I'm glad I have 2 boys.
I bet, bro.
I'm glad I have 2 boys, bro, because
it's a crazy era with these chicks and OnlyFans, right?
This OnlyFans thing, this Instagram thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, girl, do you realize that's
forever?
That's forever.
You want to become a mother or wife someday?
Yeah, bro.
Kids are going to see that someday.
That's going to follow you forever. It's never going to go away.
No.
So that's what's scary. And I'm glad I didn't grow up in that time because I've done some shit, dude. I tell somebody, I'm like, man, if I ever run for president or whatever politics, there's a one girl who has pictures of me running down a Vegas hallway butt naked.
Oh, you did one of those?
Some girl that I was seeing told me, hey, run up and down the hallway butt naked. I was like, all right, let's go. But and she was taking pictures. I was like, that was before digital. She had a camera.
Yeah.
I was like, I hope those pictures are. Oh, you know what? I look pretty good. Fuck it. If they came out, they came out.
But you know what's crazy? Like nowadays, man, everything's on camera. You can't do shit.
You can't.
And not even just phones. Like there's camera, doorbell ring cameras. Buildings have cameras that are pointing outside. You can't do nothing no more.
Yeah, man. So I'm glad I have 2 boys, but I feel bad for people who have daughters, man. Just keep them. Back then, it was like keep them off the pole. Now it's like keep them off OnlyFans.
Yes.
You know
it's pretty crazy now, man. Because you kind of can't blame them, though, bro. Because at the end of the day. You have to. I compare it like this. Like I grew up also drug dealing, selling drugs. Some of you guys, talked about me going to federal prison. Those were my inspiration. Those are my idols. The dudes in the hood and with the cars and the girls. They inspired me to fucking sell drugs, get money. That's how we call it, get money. Well, these chicks, they're inspired by getting money that way, and they don't have to go to the strip club and show their ass, but they have to show it on their OnlyFans account. But some are making hundreds of thousands of dollars a month.
Yeah, dude.
Stupid money. So how do you? It's hard for them to walk away from that, man. They have to sell their soul now.
Yeah.
But there's gonna be a price to pay
later on.
Like if you want a family or a husband, or kids, that stuff's never gonna go away. Somebody's gonna bring that up.
I mean, look, man. I mean, I think everything changes. There's an evolution to everything.
Yeah.
Now. Shit, you got CEOs with tattoos. You got face tattoos that have become normalized now. So, I mean, who knows?
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah, it's crazy. And now, which is a good thing, because tattoos don't really define a person, anymore. So who knows how OnlyFans is going to be in 10 years? There may be a course at UCLA about how to do an OnlyFans. I don't know. There's an evolution to everything.
You're right. Everything evolves.
Back in the day, I remember having a DUI was bad. And now it's like, I don't have any DUIs, but I know people like, I got 3. They say it like it's a trophy. It's like I got 3 DUIs. Like it's a good thing. I'm like, so back in the day, it was like there was a stigma. Now things don't have stigmas anymore. No. It's changing.
It is.
And I don't know if that's a good thing.
I was going to ask you, when you were in Hollywood, did anybody offend you? I forgot to ask you that. Was there any weird shit going on? You know
what? Nobody's ever offended me. Nobody. I mean, nobody's ever crossed that line with me. Okay. Whatever. I mean, but I'm an adult, and I was an adult. And
but still, they say Hollywood is still creepy with those producers and weird shit I've heard.
You know what's funny, dude? I remember one time, one guy asked me, hey, man, would you ever consider doing an escort? I was like, what the fuck you mean escort? So, I know some wealthy guys that would, if you need a car, you need an apartment. I'm like, I'm sorry, what? And he's like, and he told me, I forgot his name. And he was an older cat. He drove a Corvette. He's like, that's how I got my car and this and that. I mean, he's like, and you're a good looking young guy. And I was like 24 at the time. Yeah. He's like, you're good looking. There's a lot of guys that would like to, like, you don't have to do anything. Just go with them to certain events. Yeah. I was like, nah, man, I'm okay with that. Yeah, hell no. And he goes, you don't have to do anything. I was like, that's how it starts. I was like, I ain't into that. And no offense to what you're doing. Yeah. That's just not for me. Yeah. But recently there's been a film, I think it's called Quiet on the Set. And it talked about kids being on sets and being sexually abused. Yes, yes. And that's been happening forever. And people, like, when this came out, I think it came out a couple of weeks ago. Does it have anything to do with Nickelodeon? Because I'm hearing a lot of shit about Nickelodeon. That's it. It's called Quiet on the Set. Okay. And, and I have a 12-year-old. Yeah. And he's been doing commercials since he was 9 or something like that. Yeah. And they're like, Mai, did you see this? I was like, 1, I don't need to see it. Yeah. I know what goes on. But 2, I'm a parent. When I'm on set with my kid, never leaves my sight. That's smart. Never. Yeah. If, like, we're on set, but he has to go in the other room to shoot a scene or something like that. There's like 20 people on set between director, cameraman, grips. For sure. But there's also a monitor. They'll put the parents in another room where there's a monitor, and we get to see everything that's going on. But mostly we're right in front of them. Yeah. My kid doesn't change with anybody without me being there. He has to change. He has to go to a fitting. We're always there. That's good. There's always and things have changed. Like, there's always a private room for kids to be able to go and do what they need to do to change into their outfits. But nobody's with them but me. So how did they pull that shit off back then?
get it? Because I know there's going to be a lot more shit coming out about it.
You know what it is? I think it's you don't want to rock the boat.
When the money train's flowing
When
in,
the money
bro.
train is flowing, it's like you lose your soul in a way for that. Because like, well, you know, we don't want to say anything because then he can get fired and this and that. I'm like, fuck that, dude.
Yeah,
I will beat a producer's ass
In a heartbeat.
on spot. Fire my ass.
Yeah.
I will beat your ass if
Yeah.
you touch my kid. Action, press record, because I want everybody to see me beating your ass. But I make it known when I'm on set with my kid, they know this man is not leaving his kid's sight. So
That's how it should be.
and I let it know right away. But it's not like I don't see that happening anymore.
You know why? I think a lot of it's been brought to light, and people more awake and aware. Like, oh, now we're super aware.
Yeah, of course.
You used to be able to pull a fast one, not no more.
Not anymore, bro.
We're on top of it now, and sometimes things like that have to happen to wake people up.
Absolutely. And it's sad for the people that that had to go through something like that, you know,
Yeah.
because it'll fuck up your head for the rest of your life, man.
Yeah, there's a lot of childhood actors that have come out now as
Yeah.
adults, and you could tell they're fucked up. They're not the same. Some have committed suicide.
Yeah, exactly. And that's how bad it messes with people. So, no, but as far as me and my kids, hell no. Ain't nobody. I'm a big Papa Bear on set. My kid doesn't leave my sight.
So, what brought you back into acting and getting back on the screen again? Because we saw you, my wife saw you on TV. She says, "Isn't that your friend Mikey?" On that commercial, I go, "Oh shit, him again!" Lo and behold, you come on to the fucking in the room of a doctor's office or something. I go, "That's my boy Mikey." No way. And then I call him, "Mike, is that you?" And yeah. I go, damn, it blew me away. I didn't know you were doing that. You know?
Yeah. That was when I first started getting into it. Like I said, I took a long break. But you know what? I owned a gym back then.
Yeah.
I opened up a gym. I got out of the industry. And in 2017, you know, my wife likes to travel a lot.
Yeah.
She actually got me into traveling. And that really opened up my mind to a lot of things because traveling to me was just going to LA, going to San Francisco, maybe to Vegas.
That's what we knew, though.
That's the extent of my traveling. But
Yeah.
I met my wife. We started traveling. I'm talking about like
Abroad.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's real traveling.
So she got diagnosed with thyroid cancer, and that's when she was like, you know what? Even though it wasn't bad, she got her thyroid taken out. She's all good now.
Yeah.
And it's not a bad cancer.
Yeah.
If there's a cancer you want to get, it's thyroid cancer.
Out of all of them.
Yeah, out of all of them.
Yeah.
It's treatable. It's kind of like one of those situations, like what you went through. It kind of wakes you up. It's like, damn.
Yeah.
You know, life's short. My dad just got double lung transplant 2 weeks ago. Now he's on rehab.
Yeah.
He's in Chicago right now. Life is short. And my wife's like, I really want to start traveling a lot more. And I was like, for how long? She's like, I want to go for a month. I was like, shit.
That's long.
You know, I was like,
I've never even done
month?
that. Yeah.
I was scared. I had a business. So we finally got, this was like 4 months before we took off, 5 or 6 months. And then I just prepared. I had a business, I had a gym, I had a run. I was scared about leaving for a month. But because I knew we were leaving for a month, I had to prepare. So by the time we left and I came back, gym was fine. Everything was good.
Wow.
And that's when I realized.
No hiccups, huh?
No hiccups. And that's when I realized we can do this. Next year, we went for a month again.
Yeah.
Took off somewhere else.
Yeah.
And then we decided to actually leave for a whole year. I sold the gym. I leased it away. We found a way to make passive income while we were gone. And I wasn't back into acting yet, but for the whole year, I like to tell people that we took a break from life so we could live.
Yeah.
You know, and we took our kids, took them out of school, homeschooled them, went all over, drove all of France for a month.
France, huh?
Yeah, went to Copenhagen, went to Italy for a month, went to Costa Rica for 6 weeks, Cuba, Puerto Rico, everywhere, all over Europe, bro. We were there for the Christmas markets in Germany. Shit, we were actually in Lyon, France when there was a terrorist attack.
Damn.
Yeah, my wife and I and my kids were up on this hill looking over at the city, and all of a sudden we heard a boom. And we're like, oh, shit, what was that? And everybody stopped. And we're looking at each other. They're like, it was probably a car backfire or something like that.
Yeah.
Then like 2 minutes later, we saw all these cop cars because we were looking into the city from this
Yeah.
big hill. We were at this church.
Yeah.
And we all saw cops. And we're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
What's going on?
You know it's serious when you saw all those cops,
Well, we still didn't know, right?
right? Yeah.
I'm going to back this up for a second. I think 2 months before that, we were in Copenhagen and we were hanging out.
Denmark, right?
Yeah, Denmark. And every night we'd go down to this little concierge lounge, and we met this couple. They were Mexican, and he was a diplomat from Mexico, but he was living in Poland. And we got to know him every night. We're sitting there having drinks all night long, blah, blah, blah. We exchanged information, and they would see all our stories on Instagram.
Yeah.
I noticed them looking at our stories, right? And
Yeah.
his name, I forgot his name, Pablo or something like that. Anyway, he was a Mexican diplomat, and he was there on vacation with his wife and his kid. So we're in, after this sound, after the bomb went off, and we didn't know about it, and 20 minutes after that happened, I get a DM from him, and he goes, "Are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. Why?" He's like, "Well, because there was a terrorist attack in Lyon, and I know you're there because I've been watching your stories on Instagram." I was like, "That's what that was?" And I'm like, "How did you know so fast?" He's like, "All the diplomats and
They must get special alerts or something.
he goes, we all get alerts when something like that happens." And he reached out to me and asked me if I was okay.
Wow.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah, bro. You knew before everybody else knew what went on.
And then we got to our apartment and we went downstairs to eat. And then all of a sudden the news story broke out and stuff like that.
Wow.
And
Dude, that's crazy. That's what people don't realize, though. When you're out of the country, bro, and you got to be careful. Like, that's cool. I'm down with abroad, but you got to be careful where you're going abroad and make sure there's nothing crazy going on during the times that you're going there. It could be like a war breaking out. It could be anything, you know?
I'm going to be honest with you. It's safer traveling abroad than living here in the United States, bro.
Oh, wow. You heard it here first.
It is safer traveling abroad
I mean, especially lately, California.
than living in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
You
LA's
know?
bad right now.
Yeah, LA is bad right now. And we found out that it is cheaper traveling the world as a family of 4 than living in LA.
I've heard that. You're not the first one. Somebody else said the same thing. Like,
So-
it's just getting ridiculous here.
It's getting ridiculous. And after doing all that, man, you know, it kind of changes. My kids saw a lot of cool things. They
bet.
learned a lot.
A lot of different cultures.
Exactly. And I wanted them, and this goes for San Francisco or any major city in the United States. I didn't want my kids growing up, especially with the LA mentality. I don't want them caring about what to wear, what everybody else is doing, what you drive. You know, I want them to be good human beings. I want them to see things through other people's eyes and not just through their own lenses and think that they know it all. I want them to be able to be exposed to everything. So they have a better understanding about the world and they have empathy.
Yeah.
I want my kids to grow up with empathy.
That's a good one. Empathy.
So, yeah.
A lot of people don't have enough empathy these days.
No, absolutely not. Everything is so divided. Everything is like us versus them.
Yes.
I was having a conversation with a friend of mine who, you know, I honestly think, I don't want to get into politics and shit like that, but,
Yeah.
you know, 100% we're divided, but I think it's on purpose for some reason.
I think so too.
It's on purpose. Like, and I'm just going to use it as an example.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say which side I'm on or some bullshit. I'm not on any side, actually. I think this whole, like, for example, Blue Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Oh, you have that flag. I have this flag.
Yes.
We're against each other.
Yeah.
I'm like, I could care for cops. I could care for good cops.
Yep.
And I can still care that Black lives should matter.
Yes.
I could, you know, the whole Republican, Democrat, Green Party, Libertarian.
Oh my God, they beef all day.
I'm like, I'm human first. I'm American second. And I think we all need to realize that we all probably want the same thing. We all want an opportunity to pursue our own versions of happiness.
Yes. True that.
That's all we're trying to do. And just because you have a different way of doing it doesn't mean it's a wrong way.
Nope.
As long as it doesn't affect me. And that's how I'm trying to teach my kids. And that's the whole thing about traveling is that you start learning, look, man, everybody has their own ways of pursuing their own happiness.
Yep.
And let them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I have my way, you have yours, and it's okay.
It's okay. And it's almost like people forget it's okay to agree to disagree.
Absolutely.
And just because, I'm going to throw that out there, I'm not saying you are. You could be a Democrat, could be a Republican. Doesn't mean we can't be friends and hang out.
Absolutely
At the end of the
not.
day, we all want what's best for this country. We want to be able to support our families. We want to be able to get along. It's crazy because is it going to take another 9/11 to unite us again? I heard Joe Rogan talk about this. There's another 9/11 and we're all going to come together again?
Yeah.
Is that what it's going to take? Because right now we're everywhere. Everybody's fighting online. And it's like a lot of people are like, for instance, will try to push my political beliefs onto you and you vice versa. Like, people don't need to do that with themselves. Just respect what people are.
But you know, a sad thing about something like if there was a 9/11, it will bring us together, but it will also make us hate another class of people too.
Man, you hit the nail on the head. You're right.
And that's what sucks.
You're right.
Why
We're looking to
can't-
blame somebody.
I hate to say this, but I've been telling my wife, I'm like, let's just get out of the country. And the only thing that's holding us back here is opportunities for our kids in the entertainment business because that's what they want to do.
Yeah. Of course.
You know, and that's the only thing that's holding us back.
Yeah. I don't blame you, though,
If
man.
anything, I'd be in Costa Rica right now, my feet up, cooking some fish by the beach, bro.
I'm a follow you. That's my mother's home country, by the way, you guys. I'm like, man, I'm ready to go, too, you know? But life ain't bad. It's just what you make of it. But it's because we get exposed to a lot of shit now because of the internet.
Exactly.
It's a lot of ugliness and a lot of lawlessness lately. I don't know what the end game is with our politicians.
I don't
and
know
what's going on
yeah.
and why they're allowing it. And you couldn't do that stuff back when we were growing up. You're getting 10, 20 years in prison, the shit that they do now. Carjacking, putting guns in people's heads, stealing their car. That's a 20-year sentence when I was growing up.
Yeah.
Now it's like these guys just get away with it. If they catch them, it's like whatever. Like, what the fuck happened?
I think it's overcorrecting a bad. Like, you know, the whole 3 strikes law thing was pretty messed up.
It was.
And now they're trying to overcorrect it.
Too much.
And now it's like it's come into lawlessness bullshit. I was like, dude,
Yeah.
really? You guys don't have to pay for these things at CVS? You're just going to walk out, you
Right.
know, and I have to pay for them?
Yeah.
You know,
Just
damn.
because it's under $900 in San Francisco, I can walk my car out and you can't do
what?
nothing. They can't even pursue them. You know
Yeah,
that?
they can't even pursue them. That's what. Dude.
How do you expect businesses to survive?
And now, me being in downtown yesterday, I couldn't believe what's going on and how empty it looks now.
Yeah.
San Francisco used to be booming.
Booming downtown, bro.
Booming. And look, it's not just the criminal, you know, activity. It has to do with, unfortunately, Amazon came and killed everything. Hey, it's new times, but, you know, retail is dying. Everything is online. When's the last time you really went somewhere to buy anything? You know?
That's a good point.
So, I mean, not everything is about crime, but here in California it is.
Yes, it is.
So,
And it's crazy. It's doing nothing about it.
I don't know.
So what's your plans now, man, for the future? Like, how's life in LA? Are you ready to bounce soon or sticking around, moving?
I'm having a good time with, here's my boy right here.
Oh, yeah, let's talk about that. Look at that.
Check it out. So this is called Cholo on a Lolo.
Yep.
And look, when you squeeze them,
What's up? Merry Christmas, fool! That's what's up. We go low and we go slow.
usually he came with a Santa hat. Basically, this idea came out of a night of drinking with some friends. And they were asking me, hey, Mike, do you do Elf on a Shelf? I was like, nah, man, I don't do Elf on a Shelf.
Elf on a
I
Shelf.
don't do that shit.
Yeah.
If I did, he'd be hood as hell. You know,
Exactly.
he'd be a little cholo. He'd be hood, and he would beat the crap out of Elf on a Shelf.
Yep.
I was talking to somebody that I respect very much about, and I told this idea that, me and my friends were talking about this Cholo on the Lolo thing, and she's like, Mike, you should do that. I was like, it's a stupid idea. She's like, Mike, it's so stupid, it would work.
Sometimes those ones work.
Yeah, and I started doing some research, and I asked this manufacturing company, what do I need to do? They told me exactly what I need to do. I sketched that out, and 2 weeks later, I had a sample in my hand. And then I had it, and I'm looking, I was like, babe, I was like, babe, I'm gonna start making these. She's like, oh no, and
Bad idea.
exactly. And she said, bad idea. I was like, perfect, I'm doing it. Because every time she says bad idea, I do it. So, and then we started hitting up the Lowrider shows, and I started selling them, and we've been having a great time doing it, bro.
Yeah.
So this is what I do. And honestly, when I first started it, it was just as a joke. But then my dad got lung cancer, interstitial lung disease, so I started selling them, and portion started going to help my mom and dad.
Yeah.
So every single time somebody buys one of these things, a portion goes to my parents, so to help them out.
Yes.
But it's a lot of fun, and so I'm doing that, still in the acting game, and then I invented an app. It's going to be released probably this week. It's called Boulevard Connect. And
You were telling me a little bit about it.
Yeah,
Explain
man.
to the audience what it is.
basically, if you're in the cars culture community,
My community.
I, as a vendor, I was having a hard time trying to find all these events, right?
Yeah.
And when I found them, because I wanted to go sell my cholos,
Yeah.
Cholo on the Lolo, and when I found them, either they were too late to register or they already had passed. And there was no way of finding a way to have these events organized by date, by location. And it was starting to piss me off because all the information was out there, but it was scattered around. You had to know who to follow. You
Yeah.
had to know where to look. So I approached some guys from this company called Cruiser Brand. They have it's a Lowrider t-shirt company. And
I know who they are.
Yeah, Vince and Gabe, hustlers in the game.
Yeah.
And great group of guys. And I told them my frustration because they're vendors as well. And I said, I want to find a way we could have this community more organized.
Yeah.
Where, what if we provided some sort of website or an app and gave like event organizers or promoters a way to post their events,
Yep.
and now people could go online and type in a date and a date range and a location and be like, I want to see what's coming up.
Wow.
And now
that's game changer.
Yeah. So now it's a lot easier. So we are going to have an opportunity for events to post their event. Users will be able to search by date, by location. Car clubs will have their own page. So in case they want to recruit, now car clubs will have their own page there. The president, their guidelines. If you want to become a member, here's the information. Vendors like myself will be able to put their businesses up there. So now event throwers and organizers will be able to find vendors by location and be like, hey, I got an event coming up. Do you want to participate? Or vendors can look for events easier now.
Yep.
Basically, that's what it was.
That's smart.
And now, I think you'll enjoy this. We're going to have a place for classifieds now. So now you'll be able,
dope.
I know, you'll be able to find,
Game changer.
You'll be able to find the car you're looking for by location. Wow. Because I've been on Instagram looking for lowriders, and I'm scrolling through the people where they sell. Like there's accounts that you pay them to put your posts up there.
Of course.
But then it's like, oh, man, that's in Kentucky. Ah, shit, that's in San Antonio. I want to know what's in my area. So I'm going to put Los Angeles.
Yeah.
And now all the cars that are for sale in my area will pop up.
Wow.
And I'll be able to directly contact them. So
can't wait till that comes out.
So that's probably going to be live in probably around a week.
Okay.
So there you go. And that's what I've been up to. So
cool.
Busy.
Man, we can go on forever, man. What a good show, man.
We can go on
talk forever, but I got to cut this because it's about that time. And,
is it? Man, we got to do a part 2.
We got to do a part 2. We'll do a part 2, you guys. Don't worry. He'll be back up. So it's good having you, brother.
Man, it's great seeing you.
You too.
I've been enjoying watching what you do, so I'm glad to be a part of it. Thank you so much for having me.
I enjoy what you do with the Cholo and the Lolo. That's dope.
There you go.
Get your Cholo and Lolo, you guys. I'll put up the link in the description there.
There you go.
All right, y'all.